Coach Becky with your Friday Fit Tip. So this month we're talking all about mobility. Last week we talked about ankle mobility, and so we're moving up the food chain. We want stability at the knees, but we need mobility at the hips. Now, if you live here in Silicon Valley or anywhere else in the world that's still sheltered in place, you might be feeling a little stiff in your hips, you might be feeling a little stiff in your back, because we're sitting a lot at workstations that might not be so ideal. So that's what this whole month is about, is mobility. It's a little different than flexibility, which is getting the muscles to elongate a little bit and be more flexible. This is more about the joint, and in some cases, at least with the hip, the joint capsule, getting that ball in the socket to move better, which often means dealing with tendons or ligaments a little bit. So today, I'm going to show you some progressions on a ground-based, meaning seated here, a ground-based hip mobility exercise. And then I'll be back next week to show you one where we're standing. This is a good mobility exercise to do before weightlifting, before running, or before like a boot camp or metabolic conditioning type of workout. So here we go. The first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna sit as tall as we can on our butt bones, our sits bones. We're just gonna let our hips relax, so our knees are going out to the side. This kind of looks like an inner thigh stretch, but if you'll notice, I'm bouncing my knees just a little bit, just trying to draw a little fluid into the joint and get that joint a little bit warmer. And then I'm gonna start to press on it a little bit, right? I'm not really worried about stretching my inner thighs here. What I'm trying to do is move that bone in the socket just a little bit. So I'm pressing with my elbows. And then from here, so here I'm kind of pressing out. Now I want to turn the legs in because the hips rotate in the sockets, the hip bones rotate in the sockets. The next thing I want to progress to is dropping in my world we call that internal rotation. So we're going to turn the knee in, see if we can drop the inside of the knee to the floor. You might not be able to do it, but we'll try to get you there. Good. So we've done some external rotation and some internal rotation, and then what we're going to do is put this together. So I'm going to start basics with my hands behind me. So my hands are supporting my back. And I'm going to start over here. I almost look like I'm 90 degrees and about 90, not quite, but about 90 here. I want to start with the outside of my knee on the ground, or as close as I can get it, and the inside of my other knee on the ground. And then with my weight on my hands, I'm going to rotate. Okay? So now I'm getting external rotation on one side, internal on the other. And 4 or 5. No magic number. Just start to loosen up through that ball and socket joint. And here's how we progress it. As you get better, come up onto the sits bone. So now your abs have to control a little bit of balancing as well. I think a good rule of thumb is maybe 5 each side. You may not notice it, but your bone, that ball joint is moving in the socket. So this is a great way to kind of juice up that hip joint before activity. And if you feel stiff in your hips from sitting in a not so great workstation at home, this is a good way to loosen up. Okay, so that is your Friday Fit Tip and your first hip mobility exercise in a series of 2 or 3 hip mobilities that we're going to do over the month. This is Coach Becky with Life Sport Fitness. Make it a great day.